our next guest, another longtime MMA veteran, 40-fight veteran himself. This dude's been around. He's done it all. Let's talk to him now. Smith Brothers own, by the way, Mike.
Yes, I did see that.
That guy, Kevin Smith, man, he's everywhere. Here he is, Bubba McDaniel. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Hey, I'm gonna tell you this too, though. They don't put on the Ultimate Fighter fights and all that other stuff too, though. Man, I'm looking at this as my 50th pro fight, even though we had those fights that don't count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what? You're right about that. I always wondered why they call them exhibitions, right? They're all fucking exhibitions.
It's as real as any other fight I ever had.
Right. Even though you contestants on that show can already be pro. They're not making their pro debuts on that show.
No.
They all have pro records. So why the fuck aren't they on there? I don't know.
Well, because they're supposed to be 2-round exhibitions, and the way that it's filmed and everything, you got to fight faster than you're able to by the commission standards and things like that. So they're only 2-round exhibitions is what they're called. So that extra round doesn't even really count. It's just for the judges to determine a winner at that point. So they're called exhibitions for that reason. But shoot, you're in there fighting. You ain't in there playing patty cake.
You know, Bubba, it's so cool that we're talking to you right now because me and Mike, we have this show. We started this show a couple years ago. We're almost on our 2-year anniversary of this show.
Right on.
We're both military guys. During the pandemic, I used to be on an MMA podcast. It kind of fell apart when the pandemic hit, and I started this. And now all of a sudden, 2 years later, we're talking to a guy that Mike and I were watching in the barracks in 2013 on our deployment on a fucking like 13-inch TV. Watching.
That's dope. That's dope.
I was BitTorrent that shit. Because there's no way for us to get it, so I was downloading them on BitTorrent, and he would come over and give me a thumb drive because the only way we could see it. So we were every I forget what night it came on. But I
can't remember either, but we were supposed to follow Sons of Anarchy is what I remember originally. And then that's why they had one of the guys there from Sons of Anarchy at our fights to get in the house. And then something changed and all of a sudden we're following something else. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't Sons of Anarchy. So I was like, because I'm a bike rider, you know what I'm saying? I was like stoked about it. I was like, heck yeah.
Dude. And like Mike just said, we would watch them things and you guys, that season was fucking amazing. Like that, and I'm not joking. Like that was the last one that I was excited about, and maybe it was because we were deployed and it was giving us something to watch while we were overseas. But it had it had a bunch of killers like yourself and Uriah Hall and
Kelvin, Josh Saman, Thor, Clint Hester, Dylan Andrews, all those guys, man. Like every one of them. Obviously everybody remembers Adam for the wrong reason, but at the same time, Adam was a killer, man.
Was Casey?
Adam was a killer.
Kevin Casey, he was in there, right?
Kevin Casey's still out there competing on different things and helping everybody out now, man. That dude's still just rocking it. Like everybody out there that was on that season was a killer.
And like you said, the Adam Stella knockout was the most memorable knockout in the history of the show.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, man, the scariest thing I've ever seen live. I tell people all the time. I've seen leg breaks, I've seen all kind of different stuff. I thought that I watched a man just die. And I tell people all the time, I literally thought I watched a man die right there. I was like, oh fuck, he just died. Like that was literally the first thing that went through my head. I was like, oh shit, he just died. And then when his body started I was like, oh fuck. That's the thing too, though, man. It's like you get a rundown of everything, but you don't see everything we saw. And I mean, it was a long time that they showed all that stuff, but man, it was to the point where like it had me going, damn, this dude just died doing what we love, So hell, I'm crying and crap, you know what I mean? Like, damn, what just happened? And then all of a sudden he's up and moving around, asking what the hell happened. I'm like, fucking thank God, like it was scary, man. It was really scary.
I remember the sound he was making.
Yeah.
Dude, you could hear that from 50 yards away. I guarantee it. It was loud. Everything was just because everything else was silent too, though. Everybody else was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think I had my hands up in my face yelling, in the video on the stoppage that everybody sent to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it was. Everybody just went like immediately, eyes as big as you could have them, things like that. It was scary, man. It was real scary. And, Adam's such a good dude too, man. Like he's heartfelt. He does everything, and it's just like, you see a guy go down like that, you're just like, no,
It's That is embedded in my brain for sure.
Oh, sure. I was there.
I can't even imagine what it was like. I can't even imagine what it was like when you're there, because the immediate reaction with Uriah celebrating in the ring with the fucking Dragon Ball Z shit that he was doing.
Yeah.
And then like the look on his face after
when he realized, yeah,
like he looked heartbroken. He went from like top of the world to just like devastated in an instant, and fuck it. Oh my God. Anyways, man.
We're all human, you know. Like, yeah, you're in the moment. Of course, he's in the moment. He gets his flash, he gets it and everything. But once you realize, whoa, something's bad. Heck, we're all human, man. We want everybody to go home. You know what I mean? You want to go home, let them be able to live their life. You don't want them to have anything really wrong with them. And I mean, it's a combat sport. We know what the chances are, but at the same time, we don't want to do it.
You know, and like it's funny because I was just listening to Unlocking the Cage the other day on Sirius with Jimmy Smith. Yeah, I don't know if you ever catch that show. With everyone knows who Jimmy Smith is, but he has a show in the afternoons on Sirius, and he was talking about like certain guys just have that "I'm ready to die tonight" attitude when they step in the ring, and other guys just don't. He's like, and it's just like it's a weird thing that
you can go in and out of it too. Is the weird part. That's the weirdest part. Like you can have a night where you're like, this is it. This is my night. And then there's other times like, what the hell am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like it's weird how that happens. And I've told everybody, I was like, man, I've experienced so many emotions going into every different fight and everything. I've been ultra confident and got my ass whooped. I've been so scared and then whooped somebody's ass. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things that happen in there. And there's nights that you're just like, you know what? If this is my night, I'm going out swinging. You know what I mean? You get that feeling. You really do at different times. But it's some guys, that's life, period. Like they just, everything about every moment of their life is like, let's die. Let's go. If you're going to do it, just do it. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing to come across those cats too.
It's fucking wild. Now, man,
yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you right. I hadn't heard your name in a while. I know that like you hadn't fought in a while, and you've gone through a lot of things in your life in the past few years. And then we're good buddies with Kevin. We hang out with Kevin every time we go to one of these events. We end up going out to at least get a meal with Kev, have a couple of drinks with him. And he tells us, I signed Bubba McDaniel. And we're like, Bubba McDaniel?
Yeah.
No fucking way. We're like, what?
Yeah, man.
It's like mainly because we know you from the Ultimate Fighter, and we knew that you fought in the UFC, and like, but like that's a name that we hadn't heard in a while. How did
he drop you about my son?
We do know the story.
Okay.
I don't know how far you want to go into that, but if you
I'm good with saying anything, because I would say like this. I don't know how you view it or anything like that, man, but I'm a fuck Wichita Falls PD type guy right now these days. Like the blue ain't shit to me no more. And don't get me wrong, they still doing their job and all that and everything, but man, them hoe ass dudes know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's a lot of that. Like I say, I'll tell you everything if you want. It's just one of those things. How much do you want to put out?
Well, I know that
I only know surface things.
We know what the stories were, and we know that you wanted justice for your son. And
correct.
if you want to let everyone, was there ever any justice? Are you happy?
We have our first trial date is finally set, because they moved the venue. We're finally set for February 22nd for Vordaer, and we've got our jury selection the 23rd. My son's birthday would have been the 25th. He'd have been 7 this coming up year, and then the 27th is supposed to be his first day to court. But I'm pretty sure they'll be pushing it to a continuance on that. It took 2 years for them to even arrest the guy who killed my son. And they played a lot of games. They played a lot of games, keep me shut up, to keep me away from them, things like that. I tell the cops, I tell everybody, I tell the news, I tell everybody on the world. I was like, I woke up every day mad. So I had a fight in like April of 2018. I was getting ready to try to make a run again, thinking, okay, what can I do to get myself moving again? Like I was getting ready to try to like make my last little run. I had Coach Steven he was with Team Takedown when I went down there, and me and him broke away together. Like a lot of guys broke off with him and everything. And I went with him when I got the chance, and we were at the war room together, just, trying to figure it back out, because I got fat for a minute after my son was born. And then I was like, nah, I got to fight. You know what I mean? Like I got to get myself going again. And so we had everything running up, and I just beat Leo Pesena. and it was a fight for a Christian organization, things like that. That was, I guess, Zach. Dang it, what's his name right now? But he was on my season 2. Zach. Dang it, you know who I'm talking
Cummings?
about, though. Yes, Cummings. Man, I was, like I say, Zach Cummings called me up, let me fight on his show and everything, and did that. Everything was going good, getting ready and to set myself up with some more stuff. Had to go working, though. I was working in the oil field at the time. And, man, I got this call, and it was pretty crazy. I'm just sitting there, thinking I'm coming home. And, I'm talking to my son the night before on the phone and listening to his mom send me pictures of him and everything. And the last thing I got to say about him to his mom and everything, and even the police were like, man, you loved your son. Like, he was jumping out of a fire truck, and I got a picture of him jumping into a fireman's arms and everything the night before he was killed and everything. And, I was just like, he's a rock star, man. Like, everybody was, they all high-fived him because he ran around to high-five them all. Like, this kid was just a light of every room he was in. You know what I mean? Like, the kid was athletic. He was stocky. He wanted to run around. He wanted to have fun. He laughed. He sung. Like, it was just crazy that I was like, man. And I told her, I said, it's crazy to think that I'm his dad. I feel like I'm watching a rock star grow up. You know what I mean? Like, I felt privileged to be this child's father.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden, the next day, I get this call, and I'm thinking it's something else because I had some other things going on. I get a call from a detective, and he's like, hey, man, you need to come to Wichita Falls. I'm in below San Antonio at that time. So I'm a ways away. I'm like 6 hours away.
Oh, man.
And he's like, you need to come home today. I was like, bro, tell me what the hell you want. Like, I can get there in a few days. I'm working. Like, what do you want? And he was like, it's about your son. Well, when it says my son, I'm like, well, somebody fucked up. I'm going to hurt somebody, right? And I'm like, what happened to my son? He's like, well, I need you to come to town. So I'm thinking, man, in my head, there's no he's dead, anything like that. My thought is like somebody raped my son, did something at daycare, something crazy. You know what I mean? Like all the crazy stuff, but not dead.
Yes.
So I'm like, hey, man. And the thing that I could think to do is to get him to say, no, he's not dead. And I could just go home. I'm like, I'll go home and fix anything else. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, I'm going to go get somebody. And I was like, is he fucking dead? What? And he goes, yes, sir, he is. And at that point I was like, oh shit. Like the devastating feeling that I'm telling you about right now is something that I cannot describe. I can't describe it. Like, I don't necessarily, I'm not going to cry right now. I cry every day though. Still every day I cry. There's a time where you're going to find me crying. I've got a new baby now, and I hug him and I cry on him. You know what I mean? Things like that. Hugging my baby, thinking about my lost son. Even it's bad shit, man. And it's like I tell people all the time, they're like, I can't imagine. I was like, imagine it. And just to know that it's worse. It's worse. And it is something that I hope nobody ever has to go through. I'm talking about my enemies. Right. I'm like, yo, man, I don't want that to happen to you. And the bad part is I've had friends that it's happened to since, and they're like, how do you live? I'm like, shh, every day is a struggle. You're going to figure it out one day. I was like, but for a while, whatever you got to do to live, make sure you just live. That's it. And it's a wild thing, man. So I go home, and I'm driving home. And when I'm driving, I'm crying, I'm bawling. I make a Facebook Live, and I make this Facebook Live telling everybody, hey, man, I need to see my son. Somebody let me see my son. The police told me I can't see him. Fuck that. I'm coming to see him. And next thing I know, I'm crying. I'm just like, anybody who I got to get to, I will go through you and whatever it is. I get a call from the police again. They're like, listen, man, you're threatening the police and you're saying this and that. He goes, your son's been moved. We're not going to tell you where he is. If you get pulled over on the way, you won't make it here. Like, they were basically like saying, you threatened us, like, you can get killed on the way if you want to fucking get killed. Ugh. You know what I mean? So go ahead and be safe on the way home. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, you hoe ass motherfuckers. And that's just kind of how it went. You know what I mean? So I'm bawling though. Don't get me wrong. I'm the most devastated, deep depression feeling that I've ever had in my life all at the same time. And it's crazy, crazy feeling. And, man, I get to the house and the police asked me to come talk to them. They finally let me into town without going to kill me. You know what I mean? Like, it was wild, man. There's a wild story behind all that. But either way, I get to town. The next day, they're calling my mom, everything like that. Like, hey, you need to bring him to the station. We need to talk to him. They're going to interrogate me for some things. And I get interrogated, and I'm there, and I'm like, I'm out of it. I don't think about the right questions to ask. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like, how the hell I'm like, how'd this happen? How'd this happen? And they're like, well, we're trying to figure that out. I'm like, well, where was my son? What happened? Well, we can't tell you that. Well, why can't you tell me that? Well, it's a part of our investigation. We have to treat this as a murder investigation. We're not thinking it is right now, but that's just what we do with children, is what they're feeding me this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like trying to just keep me calm, because all the other officers are like, oh yeah, he knows he's going to go shoot that motherfucker. Like, and that's what would have happened immediately, obviously, because of the way that I was feeling, things like that. It would have happened. I'm telling you all that. Like, they did the right thing to keep people alive and me not being in prison. They did the right thing, but do I like it? Fuck no. So I get to go talk to them, everything like that. And I'm just like, they can't tell me anything. And the way it is they're like, well, we're just hoping, you know, and they lead me on like, we hope it's an accident also. You know, we're going to find out. I'll let you know exactly how it happened, this, that, and the other. When we know, we're doing an autopsy, yada, 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 right? So it comes around, funeral comes around, and man, thousands and thousands of people show up for my son. The Banditos even put the bike ride together for my son. And there was a ton of bikes. I rode a bike right behind my son's hearse and everything, and stood up on the bike the whole time watching in at him, because I knew that was the last time I was going to be able to watch him go anywhere. You know, and we get out there, bury him. I made sure that my hands were on him last, you know, putting him on top of the straps to lower him. His mom's are hanging over top of him and everything. Man, I'm going to tell you what, till y'all know that feeling, man, I don't want y'all to know it, like I say, but until you know that feeling, you don't know pain. There's nobody that knows pain until you know that feeling. Then you know what real pain is. And it's wild. So I bury him on a Tuesday. So I'm still thinking, you know, hell, my son died. I don't get it. I don't know. Like, I can't wait for some answers, you know, give me this autopsy back so I know what happened to him. Like, and I'm always like, he was so strong. He was so strong. I watched him flip off of beds and get hurt, you know, things like that, and laugh later, like 2 minutes later, because this dude was super tough. Like, he kicked the corner of tables and stuff, and his grandpa told him a few times, he was like, kick it again, you know, while he's crying. And this kid stand up, bow, kick it again, because he's, you know, doing what his grandpa told him. He was tough it out. It was wild. This kid was tough. He was awesome. And I'm like, what hurt him? What hurt him? What really did this and killed him? And I'm like asking him, I'm like, was his neck broke? Was anything like, did he fall out? Like, what had happened? What happened? Oh, we can't tell you. So like I said, I bury him on a Tuesday, come a Thursday night. His mom and me are sitting around, and she goes, I got to tell you some things. And she tells me, James killed our son. And I'm like, what do you mean James killed our son? She's like, there was blood on the pillow inside of his crib. He was outside of the crib. He was cold. He was stiff. His arm was like this whenever she got him and picked him up. His eyes were bloodshot. Had petechia in his chest. Had all kind of, you know, just like, and I'm like, fuck everybody. Because come find out, like, I guess friends of my family and everything had been asking the right questions. And everybody was like, do not tell him shit. Like, they were all, do not tell him a fucking thing, because he won't get to bury his son.
They don't want to lose.
So they purposely kept me in the dark.
That to happen.
They purposely lied to me. Wow. Right. There's a lot of people and a lot of things, man. And I'm gonna tell you like this: do I love them? Sure. Do I have badass trust issues with everybody I fucking know now? Fuck yeah. Mm-hmm. Do I take everything at face value? Fuck no. But did I get fucking hosed? Yeah. Did I get hosed? Hell yes. And that broke my whole world again. So I went and stood in this dude's yard with rifles and shit and watching him. And people I'm with, man, we're watching this fucking dude. And one of them looks, because he's got his daughter with him and shit. And we tell, and my guy's a cold-blooded motherfucker. And he goes, I'm not killing a baby. Because he knows we go kill that guy right now. He goes, we got to kill the baby. And he said, well, I'm not killing a baby. And so from there, we decided not to do anything. And I mean, I'm watching the dude 20 feet away at times, and I'm just having to sit there. I'm fucking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I tell everybody, I puke in my own mouth about me not being the man I feel like I should be for my son. Because I remember standing over his casket saying, I'll kill anybody who had anything to do wrong with you. I was like, I hope it's something that's good. And then I'm not doing it. I feel like I lied. I feel like a shit father. I feel like I didn't protect him like I was supposed to. You know, all these things come over me all the time. all the time I deal with these feelings, and it's pretty wild. So then I'm moving on, and I cuss everybody. I cuss all the sergeants, all the detectives, the chiefs, lieutenant chief, all of them. They've all got the "fuck you, your mom's a hoe," all kind of shit. Every one of them. And you know, all my people that are my people, we've had that. Hey man, fuck y'all for that, but I know why you did it. Type talks, and you know, his mom. We've had some real hard talks, man. We've been cussing and yelling at each other enough, and having to find that common ground to be okay and everything too. You know, I need her. I need her. She's the only person that's left that was of his blood. You know what I mean? With me. So I need her. And people don't like it. People don't understand it.
Yeah.
And there's a part that she was in on it, you know, things like that. Like, she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything. In my opinion, she's innocent of everything. But at the same time, like the way the law works, whenever there were some messages that came out that he was basically, at one point, this dude said me and my son needed to be cold. And if you're a hunter or anything like that, you know what that is. And, you know, at that point I said, and that didn't give you an inkling to go, fuck this guy, I'm out. You know, and it was just like, you know, when you're manipulated by a narcissist, sociopath, you know, all that, everything like that, like, you watch that American Psycho, man, like the things that I hear and do and the stories that man, that dude's an American Psycho, period. Like, and he's used to money. He's got money. He's an oil field baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got money in this town. His family put a bunch of judges, lawyers, and everybody else through school and stuff. So the PD didn't want to touch him either. So this whole ass dude, if I wasn't who I was and on that show that y'all got to watch over there in 2013, my son would have been swept under a little rug and been like, fuck, sorry you did that.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, Bubba, that's an incredible story. I mean,
oh yeah, we can go on for hours. I got my guys.
I mean, I'm a father of two. He's a father of two. I can't even put myself into that position that you were in. I feel like,
and that's what I'll tell you. I was like, think about it, and then just know it's worse. So don't even think about it again after that.
Where does he currently reside? Is he behind?
He's in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Fuck that place.
I was going to ask. You know, I wasn't going to ask, but when I saw this whole thing online, right, and I only, like I was saying, I kind of know surface things that I saw doing some preparation for you, you know,
right?
And I saw that he was out on like $1.3 million bonds. I was like, what? I was like, who is?
Yeah, the bondsman called me on that even. Yeah, the bondsman called me on that. Was like, hey man, because around here in Wichita County, you're in for like 6 months. They'll give you a half bond reduction. And my thing is, I want all this dude's money one way or another. I want him to spend it. I want him to not have it. I want him to be destitute as he can be. Like when he does get to go to prison, he ain't able to buy himself some protection, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, wow. So I'm like, the bondsman's like, hey, what do you want me to do? He wants me to get him out. I'm like, get him out. Make him pay all that money. Sign yourself some stuff up. You know what I mean? I'm like, make him pay that money. That's cool. He was in for like 2.5, 3 weeks total. That was it. But man, like, you know how it goes. Yeah, that was it. That was it.
The justice, like, shit like this really the justice system's so fucked up. It really is. The fact
October 11th,
the guy's got enough money. He's walking the streets right now. This dude's out right now.
Well, he got an ankle monitor on, but it took him 2 years to put it on him. Yeah, he's got an ankle monitor. But at the same time, he goes, hey, I'm going to see my lawyer. Can go like to Tulsa. Hey, I'm going to see my lawyer. He goes to Dallas. Hey, I'm going to go to Walmart. He goes back and forth to Walmart all he wants. You know, like, he ain't got nothing going on, man. He can do anything he wants still. You know, like, it's crazy to me. They're like, oh, we're keeping an eye on him. Sure. Okay. I've never heard of so many extra stipulations and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this dude, man, he should have been already bond revoked and all that, but if they'd have been doing their job, in my opinion. But at the same time, like, what am I supposed to do, man? Like, how am I supposed to keep control of that? I can't. They've taken all the control from me. Day one. So what am I supposed to do? Tell them they're hoes. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I do. And then it's like I told everybody, until they arrested that guy, though, I woke up every day angry. I was angry every day. Like, all right, who am I pissing off today? And I'd make a fucking scene somewhere every day. Even if I worked, if I didn't, anything like that, somebody would get some shit to them every day. And then one day I get a call and they're like, we arrested James Staley this morning for the murder of Wilder McDaniel. And I was like, what? I'm like, you actually did it? You know, because what I know and everything like that too, though, man, should have been done a long time ago. Should have been done right off the bat. They all knew day one, oh, this dude killed him. But because you got money, because you put some lawyers through school and they're judges now and everything like that, you worried that they're just going to get away with it. So they don't arrest him. They let him go until they can figure it out. I had people telling me the only way we're going to get him, and this is like a year and a half in, they're like, the only way we're ever going to get him is if he sits and admits to it. And he'll never do that. And I'm like, so you guys are telling me, and they're like, well, you could hope that DNA evidence is going to come change. And this, I was like, man, y'all just giving me reason to go kill this dude. Ugh. And they're like, you can't tell us that. I was like, I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that, every one of y'all. And the people that I was sitting with, that meeting, they were like, don't bring your phone, don't bring your wife, don't bring your lawyer, yada, yada, yada. Don't bring anything and just show up and we'll talk to you. So I got a straight crazy meeting with the higher ups of the PD without anything. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, we know you're going to go say it. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to go say everything that y'all say here to me. I was like, y'all can deny it. I was like, but I know you were here. You know, so and that's the thing they do too. Anything that comes public, hey, this, hey, that. Nah, they're going to deny it.
I hope that you get justice for your son for sure. This story is completely heartbreaking, and it's amazing. Like, you tell this story, and I can't even believe what you've gone through. And I know you were angry with the people around you that kept certain information away from you, but they obviously made a decision to keep you free and you alive, because who knows what would have happened. And now
I agree.
I don't even know, like, at what point did you decide, you know what, it's time for me to get back out there and get back to work? Because now all of a sudden your name's back up and you're going to be stepping into a squared circle and fighting bare hands very soon. And it's really hard to even bring that up. It's really hard to bring that up after hearing something like that. So, like, at what point did you decide, you know what,
so
it's time for me to get back there?
Yeah. Right. I kickboxed. It was probably March, right after. So March 2019, I kickboxed. And then I kickboxed again 2020, I believe, against one of the bare knuckle guys, Art Parker. And I love that dude, man. Ain't gonna lie to you. That dude's a good dude to me and everything. Like, we have a good time. We talked and everything. We BS'd, and I went and kicked his head off for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just the way it went. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're fighters. We do those things. I could love you. And still beat you up. You know what I mean? But that was one of those. I was trying to go. I was gonna say we've you talked to Art.
Art's been on here, and we hung out with him in Wichita. The dude's a fucking trip, man. He's funny as hell.
Dude, I love that guy.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Yeah, I mean, dude, here's the crazy part. He's got a hard head. I hit him with some hard shots. I mean, my left hand, I could feel the shock running through my elbow, even, of every shot I was landing left-handed on him. And that dude, like, afterwards, he was like, yeah, it hit me in the teeth. And I go, ow, you know, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Dude, it took a full-on head kick. And it sounded like a baseball bat going across his face to even put him down. And he still got up. I had to finish him with strikes. Had the fight stopped. It was wild. The dude still got up. Like, you want to talk about a hard head? That dude's got a hard head.
Well, he's a wild man too. Like, we spent some significant time with him down in Orlando as well. And he had his girlfriend with him, and he was getting after it pretty good down there. It was funny. I feel like, did he have like cutoff jean shorts on, Mike?
Dude. That's just a top. That's just a topper. Hang out with him a long time, but that's his thing. Yeah. He's gonna push the envelope on anything. Yo, the other day he put out a couple months ago. He was like, "Oh, I got an ale horn now." He's got a Viking horn. He's like, "It's so awesome." I was pulled up the picture. I was like, "You're a little late, bub, because I keep one too." So we threw that one back and forth.
So let me ask you this then. You've been through all this stuff, and now it's 2022. You're finally gonna have a chance to get a little justice for your son in 2023 coming up. But in the meantime, you have signed with the BKFC. You hooked up with Kevin Smith, our buddy Kevin, with Smith Brothers Combat Sports. Great people there. How did this come about? Did you show interest in BKFC, or did somebody reach out to you? Did you try out? What was it?
So I showed BKFC interest 4 years ago. Like, right as all this was starting to happen and everything, right before my son, I was like, hey, man, match me. Let's go. I talked to Nate online. I was like, match me. Well, then, he hits a couple matches and everything had happened, and I'm just like, bro, you're gonna have to give me a little bit. Like, you're gonna have to give me some shit. I'm fucked up. But at the same time, my coach, after I said that, my coach was like, you need to fight. He's like, you need to get your head right, get your mind on something else. Cause like I say, I was on one, I was on a tear. So I focused on a fight for a while. And once I did that, the whole show went Justice for Wilder on it. They helped out with the donation bins. Like I got a badass headstone off of all the things I've done to get all that. I've helped other children's funerals. We've done all kind of different things with the money off of my son, things that we've done with that. So that was great. Well, then it was like, okay, what are we going to do? My coach was like, let's get busy. Well, then we got people we're trying to get busy with. They're like, we'll pay you $1,000 to fight over here. And I want you to fight this guy from Canada, who's the #1 prospect. And I'm like, fuck you. It's like, all right. And then it's just me being honest. Like, you guys are pretty much saying, fuck everything else you've ever done in your career. Like, and throw it to the side. Cause it don't mean shit here. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Fuck you. Don't get me wrong. Like, do I want to fight? Hell yeah. But business comes in at a certain point. Like, and I tell people all the time, I was like, pay me the right money for any fight and you're going to get that fight, period. Pay me what it's worth and I'll fight it. When you tell me this, yeah, this and that and the other, and you got a 12 and 13-1 guys and things like that, and you want me to fight for $1,000, you can pretty much get told F off. But at the same time, do I like these people? Sure. Were they trying to help me? Sure. But they disrespecting also, so it just is what it is. And, love these people still as in like my people running around, had my back, things like that. But business is business at a certain point. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why I haven't been able to get busy like I wanted to. So I hear from a couple of people and they're saying, hey, we're going to help you get in this, that, and the other. And I got one of my guys named Jesse Sinks from Oklahoma. He's like, I'm going to hit up everybody I can. We're going to get you in. So I start training. I'm like, let's start training. You just tell them I'm getting ready. Tell me when to go. And so that was about 3.5, 4 months ago, something like that. And nothing's coming. Finally, I'm like, I put a post out and I was like, who the hell do I got to buy a girlfriend for to get me a goddamn BKFC fight or a bare knuckle fight? I said. And all of a sudden, like I finally, because I've tried to talk to Mike Richmond before a couple times, but like, how it is. That dude's busy. He gets everybody hitting him up on that. Yep. And I had a bunch of people tag him to it. And he finally just like was like, hey, man, he shot me a message, goes, call my manager, bro. And I'm like, cool. Nice. Called him, Kevin. Bam. Hey, what are you doing? And I basically ran him down. I was like, hey, man, like I got issues. I'm 39. I'm a little older. I'm a little beat up. I can't cut weight anymore, so I'm running around about 215. So 205 is the best I can do because after 200, my body dries up anymore. I'm jacked up. But I'm a guy that has issues enough to where I need to fight. I was like, I need to fight here and there. Like, I've only fought a couple of times, and I felt really good for a few months afterwards. And, I didn't make myself an asshole in the community, So I need to fight. And he said, he's like, hey, listen, I've got this October Denver card, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, you can get me on it, I'll sign with you. I mean, immediately. Let's do this. Next day he calls up. He goes, I got this Kamoze guy. He goes, you want to fight him? I'm like, yep. He's like, you want on that Denver card? Yep. He said, okay. So the next day he sends me some paperwork. And he's like, this is my management, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's fight. Amazing. I told him, I was like, I'm a dude. I need to fight. So he got it done literally in 2 days, got me there. And I was like, I'm yours. Let's go. You know what I mean? So it was kind of wild to me, man. Like, cause everybody else had been trying, talking to these people, getting the cold shoulder, or somebody else has, I got another fighter over here I'm trying to do with, I'll put you in, pulling my leg. You know what I'm saying? And then Kevin comes along, man. Kevin's like, got you, son. Let's go. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this. I was like, you're the man. And and he probably is like, man, this dude calls me every day. He probably is. He's probably like, this dude calls me every day about something new. And I do. I send a message like, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? We got a contract yet. We got a sponsor here. Hey, what's the shorts look like? Hey, I'm that guy. I'm a shit guy to work for, things like that, because I want to talk to you every day. But at the same time, this dude is like, yeah, bro, got you, comes at me cool.
Oh yeah.
I got no worries.
Oh, but you're cut from his cloth, man. Like Kevin's a biker, Kevin's a fucking fighter, Kevin's got couple kids. Like you're very much his people for sure. And I could see.
Yeah.
And Kevin pours it. You know, he never. I don't know if the guy sleeps. To be honest with you, I don't know.
From what I've seen, I don't think so either. Because I get messages at odd hours sometimes, and I'm asleep. I'm like, whoa, hey, okay,
right. So it's like, man, Kevin's great people. I'm glad you got you. It's crazy cool how you hooked up with Mike and Mike hooked you up with Kevin. And now,
well, here's the crazy part. You want to talk about being overseas? I went overseas with Mike Richmond on an AFE tour. Is how I met him.
No shit.
Yeah, man. So I was over there, Fat Bubba 250 and everything. Over in we went to Kuwait, Bahrain. Yeah, we went to Arif John. Yeah, we did all. Yeah, we went to a lot of different places, man. We ended in Djibouti, Africa, and everything together. But yeah, man, that's how I met him and met that dude and hung out with him and Shane Crutchin and Jessamine Duke and Luke Sanders and Michael Johnson and all that. We were all on that one. It was fun, man. It was great. I've tried to get back on another one, but things were crazy for a little while. So
hey, when you went on that USO tour, did you guys roll with any?
Yeah, every day, every time that we stopped somewhere, we rolled with everybody.
No way.
It was dope, man.
The last
I was on a coin challenge thing. I'd tell everybody, I was like, I brought like Ultimate Fighter gear and stuff, and I was like, here's the hat. Like, and I started with my hat because I had the Ultimate Fighter hat on from my season with Team Jones, everything. And I was like, put your coin inside of it. I was like, winner gets to take the hat. So man, I had about 30-some coins by the time I left.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, if you want a coin challenge, I was like, I'll give you Ultimate Fighter gear if whoever wants to get a coin challenge on here. So I ran home with some coins, some patches, things like that. I think the Ironsiders patch is probably the coolest patch I ended up getting. That was dope. I've got a few of the ones. I'm still owed one by Derek Emig. He still got me owes me one. But got him out there. He's in Vegas now and everything. We just actually talked earlier today, I think, on Facebook. Those guys out there, man, because the rig I was wearing, I think, was his. And Richmond and me and Shane Crutchin are all in somebody's rig, all playing around with their weapons and stuff. It was a good time.
I'm going to tell you right now, man, those USO tours they mean so much to the troops. Like, I swear to God, because I've been 3 deployments. And like 1 year in 2003, when the war first started, and like the whole country was like, the most supportive they've ever been for American soldiers ever back after 9/11 and all that shit. I was over there and like Kid Rock came out there. So it was Kid Rock, Bubba Sparks, Nappy Roots, and they put on this huge concert for the troops overseas. But then like throughout my 3 deployments, I saw Louis C.K. come over, do stand up. I saw fucking Creed and like all these. Not once in my 3 deployments did I get to see some fucking UFC fighters or anything like that come through. I was like, man, the one thing that I would want to see, or a boxer or something. Nah, it was very. I mean, just so you know, like those things mean a lot. And we actually had a troop in our last deployment. Me and him didn't go on it. His guy, one of his soldiers, Jordan Brown, who did he roll with? He rolled with somebody high-level jiu-jitsu guy from the UFC.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh man, he's like, I'm the only guy that lasted more than like 2 minutes with him or something like that. He was like he was real proud of it. He's like a blue belt or something. I think
there you go.
Yeah, so he was
what I'm gonna say too though, man, is like getting tapped. You're not getting tapped, you know what I mean? Going with guys like the coin challenges, I took real serious. Don't get it twisted. I was real tight. But man, I'd go out there just to sling some stuff up at some guys, let them have a good look, and just have a good time whenever it was otherwise. You know what I mean? Like, shoot, what are you supposed to do? Go out there and just like mob these dudes and act like it was just like, oh, no big deal. No, man, it was awesome though. Like you go out there, we had a good time. We'd spin around, do some stuff. Everybody'd have a laugh, just going as many as we can. I remember being so tired on each one of them too, though, because like I say, I was 250 pounds then, though. I was out of shape.
Are you flying in Blackhawks everywhere you go over there?
No, dude. Honestly, we drove most places and then had to fly from an actual airport to another airport, and we'd have our team there. We had a private security team. I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of cool. Got there a coin too, man, they drive us, and we had our that tactical driving stuff is a trip to watch, because you watch these guys that are this close, they're like literally right there, and you're like, holy crap, the whole time, like, I'm like, somebody's going to wreck, period. Like, you just think it is, but these guys are just like every day, just like that. It's wild to watch. But yeah, we had a team of those guys now. So we flew airports. They'd take us, drop us off, meet us at the next one. It was wild.
Nah, I mean, that's fucking awesome. I'm glad you got to do that. Those are all cool memories. I'm sure they're as cool for you as it is for the troops.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna tell you what. Like, I begged to do another one afterwards. I was like, please let me do this again. Please let me do this again. This is the coolest thing that I've ever done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that stuff right there, like, as much as you say y'all loved it and everything too, though, being there and being able to be in a different environment and seeing folks and like just shaking hands, man, be able to say like, hey, appreciate you. You know what I mean? Like, type stuff. Cause you're not like being here and going to a base, something like that. You know what I mean? Seeing people, you're kind of like, But when you're over there, you're like, hey man, y'all are gone. You know what I mean? Y'all are gone. This is not cool. You're not seeing anybody. Like, appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of, I was like, I'm into that. I dug it big time.
Nah, those are, and like a lot of people, like you just said, there's not a lot to do over there. And a lot of people get like real to themselves. Like when they're off work, they go to their little whack shack and they fucking don't talk to nobody. A lot of people do, but when those things come around, people actually come out of their little fucking hole. Yep. And actually show their, you know, when Louis C.K. came out, right? Louis C.K. at the time, you know, he was one of the biggest comics.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great. He's the best. He comes out and like, there's only like literally there's probably 10,000 troops on Arif John base at the time. And there's like 200 people in front of the stage. And he comes out and he's like, is there a fucking strip club around here that I don't know about or something? He goes, what? Yeah, he's like, what the fuck else do you guys have to do that there's not like 1,000 people in front of me right now? And we're all
I get it.
We're like, it's because these guys are fucking, I don't know, they're tired to sleep.
Yeah.
Nah, man. It's amazing talking to you, and you opened up about the insanity that you've been going through, and we appreciate you for doing that. We didn't really talk.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. I appreciate y'all letting me do that. Yeah. Like letting me put my story out to more people is dope to me. Like that's what it's about for me.
To be heard.
Yes, and that's what everybody I try to talk to, man. I hope that guys are like y'all and let me throw it out there, because that's the worst time of my life, man. And I'm still fighting that fight. You know what I'm saying? Like my fight was fought already. Everything else that I could get done is done, but it's not over. You know what I mean? It's not over. So I'm still entwined in it, but I'm not as heavily day to day. Like I was saying, wake up angry. Who do I got to piss off? You know what I mean?
Right. So let's talk about this real quick, and then we're not going to take all your entire night up.
Oh, you don't bother me, man.
When Kevin called you and said, "Hey, I got this Kamoze guy," you obviously knew who Chris Kamoze was. Were you expecting a name like Chris Kamoze right off the rip?
Negative.
I wouldn't think so. Like
negative. I thought he was joking and had a wrong name to start with, but I was like, who cares? You know what I mean? And here's what I'm gonna say too, though, is Chris might not remember it, but I do. So we were both in the UFC at the time, and I had just lost to Brad Tavares. And it came up to where we had taxes coming out, this, that, and the other, and I had my W-2s and all that. And somehow, I don't know how, and I'm still to this day like I am the stupidest dude ever. I sent a message to my manager, my mother, and Twitter about how much I made that year. But that's not including like manager percentage, trainer percentage, taxes, everything like that. So I put it out that I made like, I think it was like 33,000 that year. So think about it though, 20%, 15% taxes. I didn't make a lot of money, but I lived on it. And I had a little side job. I worked at the UFC gym in Albuquerque and everything like that. And I loved my people there. You know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't get to be there a lot. But I mean, I put it out, and the first person to talk crap to me was him.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, you don't like what you make? I'm sure you got this. I got that." He goes, "You want to get another fight?" And I don't know if he's picking a fight or nothing, but I'm cool to be punching him in the face these days now. You know what I mean? Like, man, you had some bad words for me. Like, I don't know if it was hype, whatever it was. Got respect. Obviously, respect the dude highly. Never going to disrespect the guy's fight talent level, things like that. But I'm glad I get to punch you in the face now. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. I get to punch you back now and say, hey, that was fucked up. But at the same time, here we are.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Like as soon as he said it, I was like, I'm good with that. Yeah.
It's a like under the radar great fight for the BKFC.
Oh, people don't even know. People don't even know.
For them to make this fight on that debuting card in Denver, and it's like it's not being talked about to the level that it should be. Like you and Kamoze been around for a long time. Kamoze has 19 fights in the fucking UFC.
Yeah,
in the biggest organization in combat sports, he was a staple in the middleweight division
I agree.
for a very long time. And now all of a sudden he's coming over here, and then they match him up with a guy like yourself who's been around and done it all and been an Ultimate Fighter competitor and a UFC fighter, and you're 30-10 in your career. It's like two fucking bad boys getting in there and slinging those hands. October 15th. I think there should be a little more hype to it, to be honest.
Oh, I agree. It's gonna be a hurt fest. One way or another, it's gonna be a hurt fest. It's gonna be the jam. Yeah, and people just don't even know it.
It's gonna be fucking awesome. And Mike and I will be out there. We're gonna probably get a meal with your manager at some point.
There you go. We'll say what's up.
We'll get to chatting with Bubba and we'll have a good time. But dude, we've had a long conversation with you. We appreciate everything that you said. We're gonna do something with you real quick. We always have some fun. I know you saw what we did with Chris. We're gonna play a little game with you called All About Bubbas. You know about all?
Okay.
Oh, hey, and before we do this, me and Mike were brainstorming what can we do with Bubba. We're gonna play a little game called All About Bubbas, but it dawned on me that I used to work in a restaurant called Big Bubba's Barbecue in Mohegan Sun for like 8 years. I worked in that bitch, and we had shirts that said "Nobody beats our meat." Nice rack. It was like one of those.
It's like the old Big Johnson shirts, right?
Yeah, man. It was the best.
Yeah, that's cool.
Great food, great it was phenomenal because like 90% of our staff were felons. It was funny as fuck. I mean, I love that place. I love it so much.
I'm lucky not to be one, y'all. I'll tell you what.
All right. Hey, All About Bubbas with Bubba McDaniel. Here we go. Number one, Bubba is a term that means brother. If you could pick any fictional character to be your brother, who would it be? Fictional character.
Ooh, fictional character. Shoot, man. Let's think here. That's a tough one, y'all. Like that's a crazy one for an old country boy like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you got that country name. And oh, my brother though. Who would I want to be my brother?
I mean, you could pick the Punisher. I mean,
and that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, don't get
Frank Castle.
Right
Boom,
yeah.
Dude.
So I had a dude named Billy Ash that was actually called the Punisher. That like I said, he died and got him tributed right there too. But man. Yeah, let's go with that then, because I'm gonna say this: Billy Ash deserved good brothers and everything. He had one really good brother. Like I say, I wish I could have been his brother too, though. Man, he needed love.
There you go. He's got the Punisher as his brother. Number two.
If you were the Bubba in Bubba Gump, what would you sell? You know, instead of shrimp, what would be your company?
I'd probably sell protein powder or something because I work at a fitness facility.
There you go. Too easy. Don't be using the same vats as other products, because somebody might get a dirty supplement and then they got picograms, a grain of salt, and a swimming pool.
Pictograms.
It's always the supplements. It's never the
right.
steroid. Yeah.
Just a pinch.
Just a pinch.
That's the crazy part too, though, man. It's like I'm probably the cleanest fighter I've ever come across in my entire career too. People are tripped out that they're like, oh yeah, what did you? I was like, never.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked at some of the boys that'll claim it, but at the same time, they'll tell me behind closed doors, and or I saw them getting it from the person that I lived with.
From Bubba Gumps.
Oh yeah, you can say that.
All right, number three. Here we go. What's your favorite brand of hamburger?
I don't like hamburgers anymore.
No hamburger.
It sucks, man. It's one of those things. Like I don't really like hamburgers anymore. I'm more of like, give me some grilled chicken on a bun and everything. And it's weird because it was just so many years of my life not eating hamburgers and stuff that just don't like it. Let's say this: there was a place in Indianapolis that was on Man vs. Food. Can't even remember what it's called right now, but they had a 24-ounce burger, this, that, and the other. Like you could put the bun on your head as a hat, and if you ate one, they put your picture on the wall. That was pretty good burger. We'll say that.
But not a Bubba burger.
Not a Bubba burger.
No.
All right. Number 4.
Has anything ever jumped up and bit you in the buttock?
I mean, ants. Thank God it wasn't a rattlesnake. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I say that bullet didn't bite me though.
Yeah.
It was a bullet, wasn't it?
Excuse me?
That bit you. Yes, sir. They said it was $1 million wound, but they must keep that money because I never seen a dime.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've never seen a dime of that money.
All right, last question for you, Bubba. Come on, dude. Mike, there we go. See, who'd win in a street fight between Bubba McDaniel and Bubba Ray Dudley?
Definitely me. Easy win.
Not even hesitation.
Easy win.
Doesn't matter that he's like 6'6", 350 pounds.
Nope.
He's kicking his jaw off.
Yep. Your face all the way off. It's going to turn that away.
Oh, man, I love it. Bubba, you've been awesome with us tonight. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time and opening up for our audience here. Our heart breaks for you for what you've been through, but we really hope and pray that you get some justice for Wilder. Is the Justice for Wilder is that a foundation that you started?
Yeah, we were trying to make such. There's a lot behind the scenes still going on and everything. Once everything's finished up, I want to be a foundation. As of right now, it was more donations to fix out, like get T-shirts, get yard signs, put pressure out on people. I bought megaphones. Like I said, I paid for other children's funerals. We buy angel trees, stuff like that. We'd buy for those. Did a lot of different things with it, but as of right now, Justice for Wilder is a shutdown thing on my end. But as soon as everything comes out and everybody else gets back on the bandwagon, because there's a lot going on here. There's a lot. And people are kind of mad at me for still being with my wife, which is my son's mother. We've had another child since, things like that. But there's a lot that goes on and can't be explained really until it's all over. And hopefully by then, yes, I'll have the ability to have a foundation for my son, and we'll take care of other people that go through the similar situations, things like that. That's because, man, it's a hard. And I got told the first time I got told about it, they said, you're in a club nobody wants to be in. And I was mad. I was like, don't tell me I'm in a damn club. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you, get away from me. But it's the truth. Right. And once you come to realize those things and everything like that, people do want to help you. Like, and like I say, people ask me for help and how do you survive, things like that. Like, I try to lead people as best I can because we're still all in a bad way, no matter what, no matter how long it is. I've met people that are 25 years later, lost a child and still grieving daily. And you need help. People need help. You need funeral expenses. You need therapy. You need expenses for living, even because work is hard. Work is hard to go to. Just living normally and having to know that you have bills, you have other kids, you have things. It sucks. It really does. And like I say, the precedence of the foundation eventually will be that. And that's what I would like to do it for. And hopefully the prevention, maybe one day I'll figure out a law to help prevent things that that happen to my son, happening to other people. Let's hope.
So, I mean, we hope you can hope and pray, man. That's all you can hope for. The best. You got our support. You got everybody that's watching support. We welcome you to the BKFC. We can't wait to see you on October 15th, BKFC 31 in Denver, Colorado, when he fights Chris Kamoze. There it is right there. Look at those two handsome devils, man.
I think the funniest thing I heard, though, is the one guy said, that guy looks like a GTA character off of that picture.
Nah, man, it's good to have you back. We're going to get to see the two of you guys throw down in Denver. If you want to, say some final last words, and then we'll let you get up out of here, man.
I ain't no pushover, Chris. I hear you saying I'm going to go down. We're going to give it to him, and I'm going to go down. I ain't no pushover. I say, I hope you're right. Not really. I say, I'm not a pushover. Don't worry about all that. We're going to come in there. We're going to get it.
He's gonna. I mean, if anybody's ever seen Bubba fight in the past, and you'll know that he's not bullshit right now. Thank you for giving us your time tonight. We will catch up with you in Denver. And Mike, you got anything else for Bubba?
Nah, man. Thanks for coming on, and have a good night. And we'll see you in just a few weeks.
Thank y'all. I was glad to be here.
It's a pleasure having you, man. We'll talk to you. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Yes, sir.
See you.
Bye.
Later.